So what does Dodgers fireballer Bobby Miller have to do with the 80s Japanese anime series Fist of the North Star? So if you don't know, Fist of the North Star is this action anime. It's kind of like Mad Max. It's this sort of desert wasteland setting, and the main character Kenshiro is this, warrior, and he goes around and fights bad guys, and so, but he has a signature attack when he's fighting. He throws a bunch of really soft blows on the body of his enemy all over. So then, of course, when he's done with the attack, he steps back, and the bad guy's always like, "Ha ha ha ha, you weakling," and so on. To which, at that point, Kenshiro usually uses his catchphrase. He says, "Omae wa mou shindeiru," which means you're already dead. So basically, the bad guy has a few moments before the attack sort of sets in, I guess you could say, and then a few moments later, the bad guy's body explodes and run and blows up, and of course, Kenshiro beats another enemy that way. What does this have to do with Bobby Miller? Well, I hate to say it, but much like one of Kenshiro's enemies on Fist of the North Star, he's already dead. So what I mean by that, you might know where I'm going with this. This video is about the recent string of pitcher injuries, UCL injuries, which at this point is nothing new, but we got hit with a couple big ones. Shane Bieber and spent one of my favorite pitchers, Spencer Strider, went down too. So it's just like uh, it's just really getting deflating after a while. So I just kind of, I just wanted to talk a little bit about just like the state of pitching and things like that. So I really think we're in a place right now where a very people haven't really had the eye rub moment yet, because you still have guys like Clayton Kershaw, although out right now, still pitching at least somewhat. And you have guys like Justin Verlander, although he's out too, still not retired, and even guys like Zach Greinke, who is, I believe, still a free agent, but he hasn't officially retired or anything like that. So these guys are kind of that classic uh, class of what I would consider really the last, true starting pitchers that would go more than 5 innings and actually have a career, a Hall of Fame level career as a starting pitcher. Guys, I think it's just and these new injuries are just more exclamation points on the problem that I think the period of the Hall of Fame starting pitcher is essentially over. That like deflates me to say, but it really is. So something for you to chew on. Can you think of any starting pitcher in baseball today who made their debut in the debut year of Statcast, which is 2015 uh, or later, who is even close to sniffing the Hall of Fame? Yeah, I didn't think so. I can't either. At first, with a burst of hope, I said, Garrett Cole. Alas, Garrett Cole debuted before StatCast, so he doesn't really count with this. So I want to share with you guys a couple of more bleak but also illuminating little uh, pieces of data to chew on. So the first one I was looking at this interesting forum post where a fan had kind of done some research and basically compiled a chart. He took the top one since Statcast 2015, the top 100 pitchers by average four seam fastball velocity. And then so he plotted them out on the chart by what their average four seam fastball registers as kind of a spread, with spin rate on the y-axis. But anyway, the main thing being velocity here. So of the top 100 pitchers by average four seam fastball velocity, the top 100 guys since 2015, the first year of StatCast, of that 100, only 15 have not had Tommy John. Only 15. Think about that. Just a second, I gotta get the door, so I'm gonna. Where was I? Oh yeah. So only 15 of that 100 have not had Tommy John. One of those, of course, is our buddy Bobby. However, although it seems awesome, I'm cringing at the fact that Bobby's four seam fastball sits at 99-ish on average. Again, this is where this whole thing comes in. Bobby Miller, he's already dead. Like one of Kenshiro's enemies, he's walking around right now, but that UCL, it's not an if, it's a when. And that's a bummer. So I did some of my own poking around a little bit. I was looking at some graphs, and I wanted to know about the average, the number of Tommy John surgeries performed on professional pitchers per year. And I found a graph, and basically, starting from 1997, if you start from 1997, the number of Tommy John surgeries performed on the year goes up exponentially until it hits a peak at 2015, which is incidentally the first year of StatCast. And then after that, there isn't quite enough data to sort of determine a trend after the exponential curve, but it looks like it might be a plateau that we're averaging maybe about 125 Tommy John surgeries per year. So where does that leave us? Because I got interrupted and stuff, I don't remember if I made this point, but you have guys like Greinke and Verlander and Kershaw, and while they're all sort of somewhat still in the league and are not officially retired, I think when these guys, this last cohort of the true starting pitcher, is finally out of baseball, I think there's going to be that eye rub moment where people kind of realize just how bleak the pitching landscape truly is. Because I don't think at this point teams even have any interest in that. The prevailing interest is to just have a guy throw gas, teach him a hard ass slider, and then just let it rip for 5 innings at a time until the elbow explodes, right? And then it's just the next guy up. And I mean, what do you do? I don't think there's a solution, which is a bummer. Because Pandora's box, I think, is open on this. You can't get guys to just not throw as hard, because if they made some sort of overture toward like having guys on it just throw less hard and things like that, there's going to be some team who's not going to play along, and then they're going to be at a massive advantage and all that, and whatever. I mean, I don't want to ramble, but I think we've reached a point quite a while ago. Even this isn't a new thing where we've kind of accepted that we're not going to see another Warren Spahn, right? We're not going to see another pitcher like Warren Spahn, a 300 plus game winner with just insane pitching stats for 2 decades. We're not going to see another Nolan Ryan. And I mean, like, we've kind of accepted that, but I think the fact that we're heading towards a situation where, you know, we're not going to see just a and I mean, Spawn and Ryan, of course, are like inner circle pitching Hall of Famers, but like even just like a normal pitching Hall of Famer, I don't think we're there. I think we're at that point where the starting pitcher is just kind of a thing of the past. And I mean, will someone get in? Probably. But it's interesting to think about, right? My earlier point about 25th since 2015, can you think of a pitcher who's even close to being a Hall of Famer right now? And there aren't any. The next real like Hall of Fame pitcher, he's not even playing right now. Like that, I mean, it's just it really is that bad, really, for lack of a better word. I mean, I don't know. Is there someone else who might, who are some candidates? Could anybody actually buck the trend? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, is it gonna be this guy, Yoshinobu Yamamoto? I don't know. I mean, maybe just put a little bit of optimism in here because this video is kind of a bummer. I'm not usually this much of a Debbie Downer. Yamamoto, I mean, he's built different, man. He just is. The delivery is not, you could liken Yamamoto, and at least in terms of his stature, to like Tim Lincecum, right? He's not a big guy, but he's a fireballing pitcher. However, unlike Lincecum, who had, just that homicidal delivery, Yamamoto definitely has a much more kind of smooth and not as nearly as erratic of a delivery, right? As Lincecum did. He just seems like he's built different. Another thing that you need to know about Yamamoto is that he has not had any significant injuries whatsoever in his 7-ish or so years as a pro. So that, hey, maybe that's reason for optimism. They say that nothing predicts future injury like past injury. So maybe with Yamamoto, he'll be that guy. You never know. The true starting pitcher who has a Hall of Fame level career. Um, who knows? I mean, I guess on the other hand, we could maybe, we could also hope for like a Koufax, maybe. Of course, Koufax, his career ended because of arthritis, which is probably, it was a blown out UCL, like all these guys are getting now. Of course, Koufax played before the advent of Tommy John, but I mean, I guess we could hope for maybe that guy who hangs on for a decade by some miracle. The elbow, holds out, and he goes on to be a Hall of Famer. Who knows, right? So anyway, that's just my little bit of I hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the cards and the discussion. I don't want this to be like too much of a downer video or anything, which it kind of was. But anyway, if you stuck with me despite that, thank you. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.